Sometimes the most interesting projects start with something people usually throw away. Today we're going to take an old phone charger, the kind that's been sitting in a drawer for years, and turn it into something surprisingly useful. With just a few simple steps, that forgotten charger can become the starting point for a homemade antenna. No complicated tools, no expensive parts, just a bit of curiosity and a willingness to experiment. So before you toss that old charger in the trash, stick around, because you might be surprised at what it can do. And after opening the charger casing, the next step is to carefully take out the circuit board inside. This small board is the main part we'll be working with, because it will later be connected to several other important components in the project. Next, I'll drill 2 small holes in the top cover of the charger. These holes will make it easy to route the 2 wires out through the casing and keep everything positioned. The 2 wires I'm using for the connections are single-core stranded wires. Inside each one are many thin copper strands twisted together, which makes the wire flexible and much easier to handle when soldering and making electrical connections. To connect the 2 wires to the charger circuit board, the method we need to use is soldering with tin. Now that the 2 wires have been securely soldered to the circuit board, the next step is to place the board back into its original position inside the charger casing. With the remaining ends of these 2 wires, I'll prepare them so they can be connected to the signal receiving part. Here I have 2 AA batteries. To make it easier to connect them to the remaining ends of the 2 wires, I'll lightly sand the 2 terminals of the batteries. This helps create a rougher surface, so the solder can grip better and won't easily slide off. And it may sound hard to believe, but these 2 simple AA batteries can actually play an interesting role in helping receive signals for this homemade antenna. Because the outer surface of the batteries is made of metal, they can interact with radio waves that travel through the air. When the wires are connected to the battery terminals, the batteries effectively become part of the signal receiving structure. For a small DIY antenna experiment like this, AA batteries are surprisingly practical. They're easy to find, sturdy, and provide a solid metal surface that can help capture nearby signals and pass them along through the wires to the rest of the device. I really like using hot glue to secure important parts together because it holds things in place quickly and keeps the setup neat and stable while working on the project. This is a coaxial cable. It's a type of cable commonly used to transmit radio and television signals because its internal structure is designed to protect the signal from interference while keeping the transmission stable over a distance. Inside the cable, there is a central copper conductor surrounded by an insulating layer and a protective shielding layer, which helps maintain signal quality. In this setup, one end of the cable will be connected to the antenna device, while the other end will be prepared so it can be linked to the TV. Using electrical insulating tape to cover any exposed electrical points is an important step. It helps protect the connections from accidental contact and keeps the wiring more secure during use. A small detail like this can make the whole setup safer and more reliable, especially when several wires and components are connected together in a DIY project. Of course, the base I'm using for this antenna device is nothing more than a portable power outlet. It's a very convenient choice because it provides a solid structure to hold the parts together and makes it easier to connect the antenna device with the signal transmission component. For the end that will connect to the TV, we need to attach an F female connector along with a 90-degree F connector. This setup makes the connection more convenient and helps the cable fit neatly when linking it to the TV. And that's it. Everything is finished. Now it's time for the real test to see how this setup performs. And just like that, our homemade antenna is finished. What makes this project really exciting is the practical result. From a few simple items, an old charger, some wires, and a short piece of coaxial cable, we've managed to create a small antenna that can genuinely receive signals in real-world use. Sometimes the most satisfying part of a DIY project is seeing something simple perform far better than expected. With a bit of patience and some basic materials, ordinary parts can come together to form something surprisingly capable. It's a great reminder that creativity often matters more than complicated equipment. So if you have a few old electronic parts sitting around at home, don't be too quick to throw them away. With a little curiosity and a willingness to experiment, they might turn into something far more useful than you imagined. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next project.